The Rewind
Sports 60. From the city of big shoulders, the jewel of the Midwest, comes a sports show that's one of a kind. From iconic players to iconic stadiums to iconic teams, this is my kind of town. Chicago! And the Rewind Sports 60 is my kind of show. From Air Jordan to Sweetness to Papa Bear Hallis, this city works hard, but plays even harder. Danny Carlino and Jerry Riles bring you the Rewind Sports 60. Live. The Rewind Sports 60 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. This is the Rewind Sports 60, 8:20 a.m. I am Lauren Cox with CN100 Sports sideline reporter here today. And oh my gosh, this has just been an unbelievable week. Last week it was unprecedented, but this week it's just insane. And we're going to get right into it, guys. Wanting to make sure first and foremost that everyone is safe and just kind of banding together during this time. But I have my partner with me today, Jerry Riles. Everyone, Jerry, what are your thoughts? How has this week been for you?
Lauren, how are you?
Oh,
good to see you. You're looking beautiful. You're looking
so
lovely,
much.
And you're sounding fantastic, despite what we're going through. Not only here in the great city of Chicago, of course, the great state of Illinois, but this fantastic country that we live in, we call the United States of America, and this fabulous world that we're a part of. But we're, as they say, we're all going to get through this together.
We are.
The Rewind Sports 60 definitely will continue to move forward. We do what Chicagoans do. We will continue to grind.
Yep.
We will continue to work together, and we will continue to be safe, and we will continue to fight this virus, fight the enemy that's out there, and continue to do what Chicagoans do. So I'm doing okay so far.
Good.
But it's good to see you.
You too, absolutely. Just good to kind of get some normalcy about our week, seeing as though all of the things that have happened and transpired. And we're missing some of our panel today, but hopefully we'll be able to talk to Dan and just kind of, again, have a conversation about what's going on in the world today. But as you know, we are a sports show, the fastest sports hour online. We're on Facebook, everywhere, and definitely 8:20 a.m. And with that, it's been a crazy sports week. I mean, all of this that's going on with coronavirus didn't seem to put too much of a dent on the NFL because they were making moves left and right. And you know, when you think about the blockbuster move that was made, of course, Tom Brady announcing that he is not going to sign again with New England Patriots and actually going to the Bucks.
Unbelievable.
For a deal that he could make up to $60 million, $50 million, I think, guaranteed in this deal. With his age, it's just so many thoughts. For one, I didn't think that New England would actually pull the trigger, so to speak, and really go through with this. But they did. And then for the Bucks to pick him up. And it was so interesting to me because what I heard, and I definitely want to get your thoughts on this, but they said, you know, he didn't ask for number 12 because Chris Godwin has number 12. He didn't ask, you know, for specific players when he was talking to Bruce Arians about coming. The only thing that he wanted after he signed was the phone numbers of every single one of his Bucks players.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted.
He's a leader.
I mean, he could have asked for the whole world and they would have given it to him. But he said, give me the numbers to my players. And that's what I love about Tom Brady, because I was a Tom Brady Patriots hater like everybody else. But
really?
At a certain point, I just had to give him his props. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, you know what? Was it Eddie Murphy in 48 Hours? Was it when he wanted the bar scene and said, "There's a new sheriff in town"? Was that the case? That was Tom Brady, and like you and most of the sports fans around the states here, is that I think a lot of people were somewhat in shock.
Absolutely.
That Tom Brady, first of all, like you said, left New England, but secondly, went to the Bucks.
Yeah.
My boys call me up. They text me up and say, "Jerry, Tom Brady's going to Tampa." I said, "What?" I go, "What?" I go, "Really?"
Right.
I go, "Tampa Bay?" I go, "Come on now."
Ridiculous.
Because like you said, Lauren, with his age, most players, even, it's unfortunate, but even the great Michael Jordan had to leave the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah.
But most players, you think, they're in the twilight year of their careers and, their contract and things of that nature. They're looking to go someplace where they can, kind of flourish,
Absolutely,
so to speak.
right away.
Because the window is closing.
Absolutely.
The barn door is closing. So, you think he wants to go someplace, but Tampa Bay actually is in a halfway decent position that with the leadership of Tom Brady going down there and controlling some things and letting players know, hey, you know what? I am Tom Brady.
Absolutely.
I've won 6 Super Bowls. I played 20 years for a franchise who's a dynasty. Mm-hmm. I am the GOAT.
The GOAT.
I am the GOAT.
Yes.
I'm coming down here to help you. Uh-huh. You guys had a great kid in Jameis Winston. I think a serviceable quarterback. Okay. Still a little bit behind the curve. Mm-hmm. Tom Brady's coming in there and say, hey, with the weapons that I have available to me right now, the only thing you need to do is listen to what I tell you to do.
Absolutely.
And if you do what I tell you to do, we will have success. Hey. And the reason Tom Brady could go down there and say that is the fact that we've seen the system put in place for the New England Patriots, right?
Right.
With Belichick and Tom Brady. Mm-hmm. And how many players have come through that system over the 20-year time frame that Tom Brady had played there?
Hey.
Numerous players have gone there to resurrect their careers, right?
Yes.
And because they plug into the system. Now, we're going to see, was it Bill Belichick in the system or Tom Brady in the system? Or were they peanut butter and jelly together? That was such a magnificent combination.
Right.
We're finally going to see that. But the point is, Tom Brady can take that, whatever part of the system that he applied in New England, he can certainly take that blueprint down to Tampa Bay. Bruce Arians knows this, and all these players need to do, the only thing they need to do, if they're playing with Tom Brady, is to listen and prepare.
Yes.
Because Tom Brady is a no-nonsense type of guy. I've gained respect for Tom Brady because, he went to that school up north, right? He went to that school up there. But, you got to take your hat off and give credit where credit is due.
Undeniable.
He is a true professional, true and through. And we're going to see what's going to happen as far as the twilight years. 2 years playing for Tampa Bay.
Yep.
It's going to be very interesting to see what Tom Brady is able to do for that franchise. Now, knock on wood. Hello? Knock on wood. He got his starting job through injury. Okay?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Those Buck fans, and I understand the phones, Lauren, down there, were off the hook.
I bet.
And they hurt, right?
Yeah.
Season ticket holders, hey, I want my... But they just better hope that this guy doesn't go down. Because like you said, what is he, 42 years of age? He'll be 43, I think, by the time the season starts.
Yep.
Oh, my God. If he goes down... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. But, yeah, I think it's exciting for the league. I think it's exciting for the NFC. I think it's exciting for Tampa Bay. And hopefully we'll be able to overcome and conquer this vicious beast that we're being faced with right now.
Absolutely.
And football will, be back on Sundays and Thursdays and Monday.
Mm-hmm. And an extra game.
Yeah.
Don't forget about that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 17 extra games. But, Lauren, what about here at home?
Well, yeah.
What about here at home? What our Chicago Bears?
I don't know.
Really? Aren't you celebrating?
No, I'm not celebrating. I mean, it's better than what we had, but Nick Foles, I think, like I said, it's better than what we have. And my question with the whole Nick Foles trade, what about Bridgewater? What about Newton? What about Jameis? Why did we just go right to Nick Foles?
Well, Nick Foles is a Super Bowl winner, MVP. Uh-huh. Yeah, I mean, so who's those other guys you mentioned? I mean, Cam Newton.
Cam Newton went to the Super Bowl.
Let me tell you something. I personally would have taken a chance on Cam.
Yeah.
But you still don't know because of the injuries that he sustained.
But with Nick Foles, no.
Well, the thing you know about Nick Foles is when he's on, he's on. Mm-hmm. But we also know that when he's off, he's totally off, okay? The point is he's reuniting with Matt Nagy. They had a brief relationship together, so he knows the system of what Matt Nagy is trying to implement. Mm-hmm. Matt Nagy, truth be told, and our good friend Barry Rosner of the Chicago Daily Herald wrote a column, I think today or yesterday, talking about what Matt Nagy brings to the Chicago Bears, and he pretty much, if we reflect on this past season, Lauren, if we look back at it, we know in our hearts that Matt Nagy is like, Mitchell Trubisky is not my quarterback. I need somebody who can run this system.
Absolutely.
And because of his relationship with Nick Foles, he knows that Nick Foles can come in here and get the job done. If he needs to dump the ball off to, Tariq Cohen, he can get it done. If he needs to go downfield, he can get it done. And he can get it done precisely and with precision when he is on.
Yes.
When he's on. And the only thing you need with this Bears offense, based on what Matt Nagy brings, is someone to manage the offense.
Absolutely.
Someone not to panic in distress when they don't know what's going on or know where to go. Now, here's the scary thing. And we're gonna go because our Dan Marver is on the line. He's on our TRS60 hotline, the marvelous one. Here's the scary thing. Lauren, remember about 2 weeks ago, maybe? Who won the Super Bowl? Kansas City? Who was the MVP? Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Did you hear? I think it was on the Breakfast Club. He just recently said, maybe 2 weeks ago, Lauren, he said,
"Don't tell me."
I swear to God, I think I was in Hawaii when I heard this. I almost fell over. I almost dropped my pina colada. Lauren, the Super Bowl MVP of this past year, publicly came out and said, you know what? Midway through last season, the Super Bowl year midway through that season, he said, I just really kind of started figuring out reading defenses.
Oh my gosh. Come on. No.
What?
Are you serious?
He said, I just started kind of figuring out defenses. Now, this is Patrick Mahomes,
scary.
Who our general manager, Ryan Pace, said he was number 2 on my list behind Mitchell Trubisky.
Exactly.
The Mitchell Trubisky that is still kind of confused. If he can read a defense, I can read a defense. I think I can read a defense much better than Mitchell Trubisky. And I'm not taking anything away from him. I just think that I've been around the game long enough. Not that I've been on the field, but I believe I can get behind center and I can read a defense better than Mitchell Trubisky. But if Patrick Mahomes comes out and says, hey, I'm just starting to figure this stuff out.
Exactly.
Where's Mitchell Trubisky, Lauren?
That's going to be so scary.
Oh, my God.
Scary.
But Nick Foles, I think he's
going to be better.
He's a veteran.
Yeah.
He knows the offense. He's just got to get the system down a little bit more. And he's got to have the skilled players that he can effectively run the football.
Absolutely.
Run the offense.
Absolutely.
So, Lauren, can we go to the phones?
Absolutely.
Let's go out there. He's our marvelous one. He's not in the Cubs bullpen. Well, neither are the Cubs. He's not on the White Sox South Side. He's not at a DePaul game. He's not at Illinois State. He is in the northern suburbs, and he's on our TR60 hotline. He's the one. He's the only. He's the marvelous one. He's Dan Marver. What's up, Marver?
Hi.
Hi, Jerry. Hey. I'm in a bunker in a basement trying to escape this virus. And, I'm glad you guys have confidence it's going to be an NFL season on time this year, because I don't.
Oh, my gosh.
And you missed the big story. Chase Daniel is with Detroit now. But leave it as it may. You're alluding to Brady. Bledsoe, who was the quarterback in 2001, starting quarterback for the Patriots, thought that Brady would be a nice backup. And then, of course, he got injured in the second game of the year. I mean, Brady wasn't, the all-world quarterback at that college up north. And so it's amazing his career has progressed the way it has.
Yeah.
And, of course, Tampa's season tickets have picked up, and they're going to, they're going to be obviously an interesting story to watch this year. So, again, I hope it happens on time as scheduled.
Well, go ahead, Lauren.
Yeah, I hear you 100% on that. And when you think about the trades and a lot of the activity that was going on, I kind of wanted to get your opinion on the Jimmy Graham trade. 33-year-old Jimmy Graham, tight end, came over from our favorite team over there out west. 2 years, $16 million. It seemed people were really passionate about this trade on both ends. Some people thought it was a good trade. I think Dwayne Wade tweeted that he approved, but it seemed like everybody else in Chicago and elsewhere did not. So what were your thoughts on that Jimmy Graham trade?
I definitely think that tight end is a position that needed improvement. Now, I was looking forward maybe to the Trey Burton to Foles pass occurring again like it did in the Super Bowl if Burton gets healthy. But they definitely need improvement at tight end and many other areas. I mean, it's not only quarterback that's a problem. The offensive line, there's a lot of issues that they had last year. I mean, they had no running game. So, tight end, it would be nice to have a tight end because it was absent in the offense last year. So I think anything would be an improvement, personally.
Marver, the one reason they didn't have a running game is because our coach didn't want to use the running game. You got rid of a running back who was showing production, and then you draft a running back, and then you don't use them.
Absolutely.
Hello.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously an issue. You're absolutely correct.
But I agree with you, and Lauren, I do. You're absolutely right. The Bears, if they have a draft or whatever, what's going on, they certainly need to address the offensive line. Yes. They must address the offensive line.
They didn't.
Well, as far as the tight end is concerned, Jimmy Graham. I can't even remember who told me, or I got the the notification on my phone, but I talked about it with a buddy of mine, and I said, you know what? I think it was Henry Hackney Jr., my good friend. I talked to him out in Wheeling. I said, you know what? I said, he's better than any tight end we have on the roster right now. He's better. I don't care if he's broken up. I don't care if he's aging. He's better than any tight end that we have on the roster right now, Marvelous.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, it was a non-existent position last year, much like running back and others. But I still think that they haven't improved enough, and I wouldn't be shocked if Foles was a starting quarterback eventually. But it just doesn't seem like they're going to be a better team this year from what I see.
Well, I don't, when you talk about better, I think the way that there's so much parity in the National Football League, you could go from an 8-8 team to a Super Bowl bound team in a season. We saw what happened in Matt Nagy's, rookie season as head coach of the Bears, and we saw what happened last year. So, barring, injury and how well these players are conditioned, and again, that's all pending if we have a season in the fall. I think with someone with the experience, let's say experience as far as what Nick Foles brings to the table, again, basically what you have to do is just manage the offense.
Exactly.
You can't, again, and it's not Mitchell Trubisky's fault, but I'm not going to feel sorry for him because he's set for life. So I'm not going to worry about him. But no. You can't take a kid. I don't care what you say, what you do, what you think. You can't take a kid out of college to play the best sport in the world, in my opinion, in the National Football League, who've only played 13 games as a collegiate starter, and then plug him into a storybook franchise like this, and then expect him to take, look, what's that? Wait, look at how many rookie quarterbacks have come into the league, and they've struggled. This Murray kid out in Arizona, the kid is good.
Yeah.
The kid is very good. And he struggled. He's got some help now. Marcus Mariota, that guy won the Heisman Trophy, didn't he? We saw what he did with Oregon, right?
Yeah.
Jameis Winston, we saw what he did at Florida State. These guys are phenomenal. And they're struggling in the National Football League. How the hell do you think you're going to take a guy from 13 games at North Carolina, and no offense to the Tar Heel fans out there, but you're going to take a guy from 13 games out of North Carolina, bring him here to Chicago and say, hey, you're going to be our starting quarterback. Why? Because you interviewed well at the combines in Indianapolis. Well, you're a strapping guy. You're pretty healthy. You look pretty good. You seem pretty smart. You're a good-looking guy. You're a pleasant guy. You're nice to bring home to mom for dinner and stuff like that. He's going to run your team, and he doesn't even know how to read offenses? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Mitchell, I love you. I love you to death. I'm telling you, I do. But let me tell you something. You've peaked out. You've peaked out. That's it. There's no more. Marvelous. Lauren.
Well, there's
no upside to Mitchell Trubisky.
Not now, after y'all came in and brought somebody to have his job. I mean,
don't tell us.
Why even show up to training camp?
I agree with you. Why show up? But Ryan Pace already said, hey, he's our starting quarterback in 2020. What?
Yeah, okay.
He's our starting after this season? You're declaring he's our starting quarterback in 2020? Are you nuts?
Hey, his job is on the line now. That's what
Go ahead, Marvelous. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say the one advantage they have is they won't be playing that first place schedule this year. They'll be playing the NFC South and the AFC South, which, by the way, includes Tampa, interestingly. So, I mean, the schedule isn't as top heavy next year, so that will be an advantage to them. They'll have a schedule like they had 2 years ago, with more winnable games.
Right. Well,
they may actually have a better record.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. But again, I think you're going to get more production out of Nick Foles. And I think Nick Foles, if everything, let's get past this pandemic. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's a public service announcement to all of you out there. Mm-hmm. Hey, stay at home.
Yes.
Stay home. Stop. Don't go to the beaches, although I wouldn't go to the beach in the summertime here in Chicago anyway. But don't go walking your dog down Lakeshore Drive. Don't do it. Stop it. Stop it.
Yeah.
Go in the backyard. And I got to say this. I got to say kudos to a gentleman. I live in Wheeling in the northern suburbs here of the great city of Chicago. There was a gentleman walking his dog down the street. The dog stops in my front yard and does his business. Mm-hmm. Number 2. And I'm looking out the window because, Lauren, I ain't got nothing else to do. Ain't no games on. I read the paper already.
That's you, the man in the window?
I'm watching. Yeah, that's me, the man in the window. I watch movies. I continue to watch movies. The dog taking number 2 in my yard. And I go, he
don't
better not.
Snap now, because you being isolated in quarantine.
I was this close. I was this close. The dog did number 2. Marvelous. I had to commend the guy. He picked up the poo in my yard.
He should.
He picked it up.
That's your responsibility as a dog owner.
Well, a lot of people don't show responsibility like that, Lauren. They just go on about their business. But I commended him. I went outside and said, "Thank you, sir." And he looked around like I was a ghost. But I want people seriously to stay safe, stay indoors. If you have to go out for essentials, go on out there.
Sure.
But don't just be going outside and do, what do they call it? The space in between.
6 feet.
6 feet.
Yeah, we got our 6 feet.
Maintain your 6 feet. Social
Distancing.
distancing. Make sure. Stop it. Stop it. This is serious.
It is.
It really, really is. Lauren and I, we got our disinfectant. She's covered her microphone. We sprayed down with the Lysol. Devin stayed 6 feet away from me. Well, normally he stands 6 feet away from me because it's usually because I got bad breath. But this time he's got a real, But yeah, we want everyone to be safe, be smart, and stay inside.
Yes.
Stay inside.
Please do.
I'm inside. I'm practicing social distancing and all no offense, but I'm limiting non-essential travel.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I want to get your opinion, Dan, on the Tom Brady trade. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, it seemed as though it was something was going to happen. He didn't seem like he was totally committed to going back to New England.
Exactly.
Tampa, he wanted to be in the East Coast still, and probably he wanted to play in a place where the home game's a little bit warmer. Wouldn't play him. And, that division is Atlanta and Carolina and New Orleans. I mean, Bridgewater's in the division now, but and Breeze. So, I mean, it's a division that's winnable, much like the Patriots division was, with not a lot of power teams. So I think he made a good move. Now, it's a lot, particularly for the money involved. So I was mildly surprised because, the people I was watching some of the Boston news, and it's like, they're in denial, and that's the way it is. I mean, it's gonna look weird, much like Johnny Unitas with a Rams hat or Michael Jordan in a Wizards uniform or whatever it was. It's gonna look weird, but it's still a business, and he and he decided it was time to make this move. So and he did, and we'll see if it works out for him. Hopefully he'll stay healthy, like you were saying, and the team. Has not been great lately, but they do have some talent on that team actually. So it might work out for them.
And speaking of the Patriots, cornerback Darius Slay, formerly of the Detroit Lions, he signed with the Eagles, and he had some nasty things to say about Matt Patricia, Detroit Lions coach. Don't know if you heard about that, but basically, there is a history of the coaches that come out of Belichick's camp to have this lack of respect, so to speak, for their players. What were your thoughts on Darius Slay's comments, which we can't even say on the air, as it regards to Matt Patricia?
Well, sometimes it's better that people not make public comments, keep it to themselves. But in this case, he felt we had a say. I mean, there's been some issues in Detroit with Patricia. Actually, I think there's some other players that have had some negative comments about him in the past. So, it's not shocking, but again, it's not it's too wise to make public comments because it could hurt you in the future down the road, in your ability to make deals with other teams.
Absolutely. Well, Dan, we're going to take a quick break. Thanks so much for calling in and chatting with us a bit on the TR60 hotline, and we'll talk to you later.
I hope there's food here in this house.
Feed him.
Hey, Marvelous, before we spring you though, did you got my voicemail? Did you and Lauren?
Yeah, thank you so much. I got an NCAA fix for YouTube. Thank you so much. I had a bracket. I was making my own bracket yesterday at 11 in the morning.
Yeah,
man.
Fake game times. Yeah, they had games at 11, 1:30, and 3 normally on CBS. So I was doing some pretend, and then I watched the pretend high school basketball championship between Mundelein and Collins.
Oh, my gosh.
Brian of the Sun-Times had a mock high school tournament, too, and he had Peoria Notre Dame beating East St. Louis in the 3A. So I had some fun yesterday in my make-believe world.
Yeah, we all had fun in our make-believe world, but it's fantastic.
Imagination.
Hey, Marvelous, you're the best, buddy. Okay. Stay safe, and we'll be in contact for sure.
Okay. After they have some coronavirus tests, I'll check myself out, and then I'll be able to join you maybe.
Awesome.
Sounds good, brother. Thank you so very much. Enjoy. Take care of yourself and the family.
Okay. Good health.
You're the best, buddy.
You too.
Okay.
Hey, Lauren, I don't know. Did you see it? It's college basketball on YouTube, and they put together a bracket of the March Madness 2020 tournament, correct? And it's all it's a video game.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
It's 2K8. 2K8 the video game, EA Sports.
Okay.
And they created their own bracket. And they created all the teams.
Oh, my
the 64
goodness.
teams with the seeding and everything.
Okay.
Right? And my daughter found it, and we started watching. So we saw Illinois. Who did Illinois beat? Illinois beat Utah State to advance in the first round on Thursday. Ohio State played Akron. And we lost. We were a 7th seed, and we lost. I go, are you kidding me?
Oh, my God.
So I'm like, I don't want to watch this stuff. But here's the cool thing about it. And again,
that's so cool.
If you want to get your fix on, just go to the YouTube, type in college basketball. College basketball, one word. Click on that, and it's going to have a list of all the matchups.
Okay.
All the matchups, and then you can go below the video, and there's another link there you can click on. It's going to give you the brackets of every, and the advancement.
Okay.
Man, I tell you, it's so crazy because you're following your team.
Yeah.
They're averaging 3.4, 3,000 at least, over 3,500, I think, people viewing these games.
Yeah.
Right? And Lauren, here's the crazy thing about it. You find yourself getting caught up in the hoopla.
Oh my gosh.
Because they have the players. They don't necessarily say the players' names because of, all the issues that are going on with that.
Sure.
But so they'll say number 35 or number 20 or whatever,
Okay.
And for a lot of the players, some of the players, they do say their names. But the point is, you're getting caught up in this thing because you don't know the outcome of the game.
Right.
And they're
it
going
could be
down.
Anything.
It's hilarious. And when someone makes a jumper, you're like, yeah, I'm watching Illinois, and Frazier makes a 3 to give them a lead. You're like, yeah, you're cheering. You're like, it's a video game.
Oh my gosh.
But that shows you where we are. But if you want your fix, if you're NCAA basketball junkie and you need your fix and you haven't found anything, go to YouTube. I'm giving these guys a plug, but go to YouTube, type in college basketball, one word. It's going to open up and give you all the matchups. I think it's in the second round now.
Okay.
So hopefully your favorite team is still alive. The Buckeyes, as I told you, were ousted by Akron. So I don't even get into it any much, but it is fun. It's a lot of fun. Hey, if you want to join us, Lauren, our number is 773-736 or 763, something like that, 9278, 773-763 WCPT. Give us a call. We'd love to hear from you. Want to take a short time out. Gabe Salgado with our TRS60 scoreboard update. Gabe, take it away, buddy.
TRS60 Sports Update
is sponsored by the Monster Education Foundation. As the sports world remains on hold due to the COVID-19 virus, the International Olympic Committee made a very important announcement today regarding the Summer Games in Tokyo. As many athletes and Olympic organizations around the world have called for the postponement of this year's Games, the IOC said today that they will have a decision on whether or not to do that within the next 4 weeks. They did say, however, that canceling the Games is not on the table. Opening ceremonies at the moment are still scheduled for July 24th. The NFL has forged on with its offseason activities despite the coronavirus outbreak, but Yahoo Sports reported today that next month's NFL draft could be moved from Las Vegas to a television studio. Last week, the league announced that while the draft will still take place from April 23rd to the 25th, all fan events surrounding the draft have been canceled. According to the report, if the draft shifts to an in-house event, the picks would be announced from the NFL's league office in New York, while interactive cameras will be set up at the facilities of all 32 teams. The NFL has yet to make an official announcement regarding updated plans for the draft. Free agency in the NFL continues today, and the Bears continue to add talent to the roster. Today, the team announced the signing of former Kansas City Chiefs safety Jordan Lucas to a one-year deal with $1 million. Lucas started 14 games for the Super Bowl winning Chiefs last year. The two biggest names still available on the market, however, are defensive end Jadeveon Clowney, who has 32 career sacks and played for Seattle last season, and quarterback Jameis Winston, who set a new league record with 30 interceptions for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2019. Winston is looking for a new home after the Bucs announced that they've agreed to sign former New England Patriot and six-time Super Bowl champion Tom Brady this week. And as Major League Baseball continues its holding pattern, one of its executives is speaking out. Toronto Blue Jays president Mark Shapiro said today that teams will need at least another month of spring training before the season officially begins. MLB spring training came to a halt a couple of weeks ago as other leagues suspended their operations due to the coronavirus pandemic, and Commissioner Rob Manfred has said that the 2020 season may not begin until May. This update is sponsored by the Monster Education Foundation, MEF, empowering the next generation of leaders. Go to monstereducationfoundation.org to learn more. I'm Gabe Salgado, reminding you to keep washing those hands and stay at home with the exception of essential travel, and you're listening to the Rewind Sports 60 on WCPT 820, Chicago.
Lauren Cox here with the Rewind Sports 60. Back in the studio with Jerry Riles, and we have a George Bliss caller on the line. George, how are you today?
Good. Jerry, how are you, my friend? What's going on, Jerry?
How are you, George? Good to hear your beautiful voice. How are you and your family doing? The lovely Kathy and the boys. How's everyone doing?
Well, great, but I wanted to tell Lauren I wanted to call in today because of the unprecedented time. But here's the funny thing. Brady went down to Tampa, and the guy that runs the number one station down there, and I want Lauren to hear this and all the other team there, the guy that runs the station down there, you mentored him. You made him an incredible talent. His name is Rock Momola.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, Rock Momola. He runs the top sports station in all of Tampa. He's the big boss, and Jerry taught him everything he knows. And already I talked to Rock just the other day, Jerry. He sends his love and hello. And he's got Brady coming in the studio. You know how they do it in Boston. So Tom will be on that station. They are the station of the Tampa Bay Bucks. So Rock is going to use a great experience that he learned under you, under the Jordan era and the Brian Urlacher era, and you and Mike North and Dan Jiggets, that era going way back to Dale Sayers, Walter Payton, all the great things you did, Jerry. Rock's going to use that. I just thought I'd mention that. Not only that, Ron Rivera, Lauren, who is the coach now of Washington, is also a student of Jerry.
Oh, my God.
Thank you, George. Thank you, George. No,
Chico Rivera.
But he's right.
He's a great guy.
He's right. Chico Rivera, he actually, once he left the Bears before he got into coaching, he was actually an intern at the Score.
Oh,
and then he did on-air work with the Score as well.
Roughly, right, Jerry?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah. But thanks, George.
And the other thing, and I think everything is capitalism in the world. I think Tom's a great guy, and yes, he is the best quarterback of all time, but let's be frank about it. He's moving to Florida for one reason. A, the weather is nice there, but there's no state income tax there.
Right.
That is in the tens of millions of dollars. He can't go to L.A., which is incredibly high. He can't go to Chicago because Governor Pritzker's raised it. It's ridiculous. The amount of money that he'll save playing in Florida, which is a beautiful town, Tampa, and I know he's already going to be living literally right in the same neighborhood as all the golfers down there, Tiger Woods and all those beautiful neighborhoods down there in Tampa. I mean, I think it's a good move. I think it's going to be interesting. But I just wanted to mention that, I've been listening here to, the Rewind Sports 60 here for a few minutes, and it all comes back to knowledge that Jerry kicks out very quickly to his knowledge of guys that he taught. And, heck, if anybody should come on the great WCPT, if we can get him Tom Brady, he should talk to Jerry, because the truth is Jerry kind of formed the thinking patterns of all the sports radio guys. It really spread out years ago. We're in Chicago, now they're in Tampa, now they're in L.A., now they're in Seattle. They're all over the darn place. So the show is great. Everything's fun. Nick Foles was a good trade, by the way. He was the MVP. I mean, he just didn't walk into that game. He didn't fall on his butt. So I think we're going to be okay. Jimmy Graham Cracker. I don't know what they're doing, Jimmy Graham Cracker.
Well, George, he's better.
He wanted to call in and say hi.
He's better than any tight end we have on the roster right now, in my opinion.
I mean, just a simple, logical thing like that is true, and I love hearing Lauren's voice at the top of the show and everybody at the CPT. And I just wanted to call in and say, because of this incredible, unprecedented situation, many, literally millions of people are home tonight in the Chicago area, and that's a good thing for CPT and all the other stations, because maybe folks are finally saying, why are we watching other things on Sunday? Let's turn to WCPT and listen to the great Jerry Riles and his great crew of Lauren Cox, et cetera, et cetera. So, guys, bless you, love you, and we'll keep listening, and we'll get through this thing together.
You got that right, George. You're the best. Love you, brother, and hopefully we'll get a chance to see you soon. Remember, 6 feet apart, brother. 6 feet apart. Thank you, George.
Be safe.
You're the best, buddy.
Bye, Jerry.
You know what? It's
how awesome is that, Jerry?
Well, he's fantastic. George is great, and I've worked with some good people in the industry and the business. Chicago is fabulous. It's the greatest town as far as sports is concerned.
Sure.
And you cross a lot of paths, no question about it. And I mean, I've been blessed and fortunate enough to do so. We want to get another public service announcement out there.
Yes.
Normally we're on Facebook on the Rewind Sports 60 Facebook page, but our producer, Devin Tingle, just informed us during a break that we are only on WCPT820.com. So go to WCPT820.com, go to the website, the station's website, and you can see us on Facebook Live that way. It will be up on the Rewind Sports 60 webpage following the show. But definitely, if you're not in your cars listening to us on your radio dial, or if you're listening, anywhere, just make sure you're on WCPT820.com, Lauren.
Tune in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we are so happy to have on our TRS60 line, Dr. Lloyd Walton, NBAPA Senior Counselor. Doc, how are things going? How are you managing? How are you faring? Every week, it's a different story, and things are changing rapidly. So, what say you about all of this?
Very fluid, Lauren.
Yes.
I hope you're well. You and Jerry. Hope everything's well with you. I have absolutely no complaint other than I can't go to the gym. Other than that, it's not a whole lot of changes I've gone through. I don't mind being at home. I really don't. I have a lot of work to do, and most of the time my travels would be going out to see my team and my players across the country. But because of these unprecedented situations, I don't mind being at home. I've been able to get so much stuff done. It's amazing. So hopefully we can get out of this, but as I shared with you guys last week, and I don't want to say who said it, but said that, 30 days. I told you, no way 30 days. I mean, I'm not the smartest guy in the world, but one thing I do is I listen and I research. And so I'm thinking maybe in the month of June, we'll be okay. If you've done your research, you realize that this virus cannot maintain itself in warm climates. So it certainly will help if we can get through to these warm climates and what have you. But I'm good. I'm still working, doing stuff for the players, and that hasn't stopped. In fact, the players have more time now than they've ever had because, usually they're playing and practicing and getting ready for that next game.
Hey, man, let me correct you on one thing, okay? I'm going to correct you on one thing. Aside from Barack Obama, the great Barack Obama, Dr. Lloyd Walton, you are one of the smartest individuals in the world, man. You only one of 3 NBA former players to carry a doctorate degree. So in my book, you're one of the smartest individuals in the world. So own up to it and take the credit, brother. Come on now.
That's right.
Hey, I'll just say thank you, but I know what it took. Okay, so there's different kind of people, and I've shared this with Jerry Lauren before. Like my wife is like super smart. She's think about it smart. All right, I got the answer. I'm like a grinder. Okay, it's gonna take me 2 or 3 days to come up with the answer, but I'll get it.
Right.
So I appreciate the compliment, Jerry, but I know my role, I know my place, and it's not with the smart ones. Okay.
No, you know what? It's interesting because that's you just confirmed because that makes you smart. You understand? I think I'm a halfway decent guy. I told you Barack Obama, but we know Michelle calls the shots there, right?
Absolutely.
I got a good friend, my Dr. Gerard McClendon. The guy is smarter than he's the sharpest guy I know, man. But when his wife Q, oh my God, So and my beautiful beautiful wife. I mean,
Absolutely.
I got to, and let me tell you something, Lauren. You know this, and Doc, you may know this too. I mean, my wife is pretty sharp.
Definitely.
But I live in a house with two other women as well, and they're quickly passing me up, man.
Hey.
These are engineers that I'm talking about here. My daughter say, "Go and sit your ass down in the corner there." I go, "Okay, yes." I thought it was my wife telling me, and she go sit your ass down. I go, "Yeah, okay." I go, "Wait a minute, you're the one in school." Not me. She said, "You get in school now, Daddy." Okay. But hey, man, seriously, what's going on? What's going on in the association, man? I mean, more players are being tested and testing positive. We know that the Los Angeles Lakers, 4 players there tested positive. Mm-hmm. I don't think they've named any players, but what's the latest development as far as the National Basketball Association is concerned regarding this coronavirus, COVID-19?
Well, they named one player, and that was Quinn Cook of the Lakers, who tested positive of the 4. But nothing's. I mean, we're a cosmocosm of what? Of society, right? So I'm not surprised other guys are not going to test positive. That's just the way it is. Their potential is extremely high. They're at risk because they've traveled so much throughout the whole country, right? And they're constantly shaking hands, giving people dap, high fives, and what have you. Mm-hmm. They've been exposed as much as anybody or any group in America. So it doesn't surprise me that these guys have tested positive. I'm surprised at this point that more haven't tested positive at this point. And if others do, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. We're staying the status quo in terms of communicating with our players. We're creating programs that we could do via a conference, via Zoom and Skype and what have you. So we're staying in constant contact. The fact of the matter is that players have more time now to engage in the programs and information that we want to share with them. So it's a bad time, but there's a benefit to players having the time to be able to engage in the programs that we have.
Absolutely. And it's so many Zoom meetings going on. I mean, even my son and his class, they're having Zoom class every day. So Zoom is getting a lot of action. But I wanted to get your opinion, Doc, on this whole narrative or conversation around the elite, the celebrities, the basketball players, the football players, being able to get access to testing, whereas, regular people who have symptoms and who may have the COVID-19, they aren't able to gain access to tests. So what's your thought on that? Because that's starting to kind of take a life of its own in terms of people on both sides of the fence. And even your president weighed in and said, well, it's just like that sometimes. That's how life is. So what are your thoughts on that, Doc?
He didn't say that.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Did he?
Yeah. He said that's how life is, basically.
Oh,
Jerry, wait a minute now. And I don't agree with him. This may be the only thing I agree with him on. If an individual, let's bring it down to more realistic terms if an individual has cancer, if an individual has diabetes, in order for them to get the service that they need, plus prescriptions and things of that nature filled, you have to have money. If you don't have the money, you're not going to be able to do it. You're not going to be around very long. Now, it's the nature of the beast is those who have the money can afford to have certain things done. That's the bottom line. If you're in an organization can afford to have your staff, which are players, tested, then why wouldn't you? I'm serious.
Right.
If you are a wealthy individual and you have kids or you have a parent that may have the virus and you could afford to get them tested or be able to navigate this malaise and get them tested, wouldn't you do it?
Of course.
I would say everybody on this phone would do it. Mm-hmm. So this is no different than that. It's unfortunate, and that's the way our society has been built. Mm-hmm. The rich get the opportunities, right, and the poor people don't. I don't agree with that premise, but that's just the way it is.
Right.
So Lauren, in terms of responding, I have to agree with this guy who's in the White House because he's right. That's just the way some things is. I don't like it.
Right.
Look, my wife is on the front line every day.
Yeah.
She's the executive of outpatient services. So you know who she comes in contact with on a daily basis at this hospital? Man, it's crazy.
Right.
So if something happens to you, you want to be able to, unfortunately, that's why, one of the number one things, and I don't get the political thing, I know you guys don't, but when somebody says healthcare for all, that perks people up. Whether it can happen or not, that perks people up because there's a lot of people who can't afford healthcare right now who live in our country.
Yeah,
And you find other countries where everybody has health care for free. So it's kind of crazy, but that's the nature of the world that we live in, not even the country, but the world that we live in.
Yeah. No, you're right, Doc, and very well said. Unfortunately, you don't want that type of message coming from your leader. That, regardless if it's the truth or not, we understand that, and I want people.
Exactly.
You know, our motto here is real sports, real talk, just plain real. And I want the president to be real, and I want him to be honest. But you have to be you have to be diplomatic in how you communicate the message to the masses, because you are the leader.
Yes.
And you can't, you shouldn't. You can do whatever you want to, and he's doing whatever he wants to. But you have a moral obligation. You have a legal, a political obligation to the people who put you there and the people that you represent, that you address them in a manner that's going to keep peace and keep people sound and safe. You can't say, hey, that's just the way it is. Well, we know that's the way it is, but we don't want you to tell us that's the way it is. I mean, we don't want that. But you know, I commend your wife, and I commend all of those leaders who are on the front line battling, because this is an enemy that you can't see.
No.
And you don't know that there are so many people on the front line who are testing positive. Because they're trying to help others.
Absolutely.
And, you know, these individuals are putting their own life and their families' lives at stake. And
they don't have the resources that they need. I mean, come on.
Well, that's another thing as well.
And gloves?
Yeah, that's another thing as well, Doc. And, you know, maybe you open up a can of worms. But go ahead.
No, I just, you know, why should we expect anything different from our leader?
Because,
I mean, seriously.
Well, you know what?
No, wait. I'm talking about the history that's happened since they've been in office. Why would you expect anything different? Not whether it's right or wrong, right? This is who he is, and I don't care about that. That's who he is. When somebody shows me who they are, I believe them. Maya Angelou, right? Yep. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So I believe that. So I don't expect anything different. And I don't know why anybody would expect anything different, right? You have a certain decorum when you are a leader of whatever, whether it's a company, whether it's the United States, or whatever. There's a certain decorum that you have. And if you don't see that, then why would you expect anything different after 4 years?
Because you would expect, you're absolutely right, but you would expect that person who's in command would show some type of heart and compassion for the people of this country that we live in. 9/11 happened to us, and George Bush, the son, was in office. I didn't support him. I did not vote for him. But when 9/11 happened, I got behind him as an American and supported him. Because at that time, we talked about, you know, the terrorist attacks, and I said, hey, you know, first and foremost, I'm American. I don't care if I don't get along with the skinheads or the national white supremacists or the Ku Klux Klan or any. I don't care if I don't get along with them. That ain't my concern right now. Right? What's my concern during that time was the fact that I'm an American and we were threatened as a country. And then when that guy stood up there, President George Bush stood up there and addressed and said, hey, no, they're not going to come and harm us. We're going to do what we got to do. Hey, I was behind them.
Right.
I was in New York at Yankee Stadium for the World Series when they were playing, and I was patriotic. I had the American flag on my heart, on my sleeve, wherever I need to put it, because I was an American, because this is my homeland.
Right.
Right? This is a pandemic. This is something that we've never witnessed in our lifetime.
No.
And people are fearful. People are scared.
Yeah.
And he's attacking the journalists who are there representing the people trying to get the information.
Ridiculous.
Let me tell you something. If he is the free leader of this the leader of this country, and you're up there, hey, don't take sides. It's not about sides right now.
No.
It's about surviving, brother.
Need to tell him
That's what it's about.
You know what? First, Jerry, you're absolutely right in everything that you said. I agree 100%. But as a leader, there's one thing that I know that you have to do as a leader, not of the Republicans and not of the Democrats, of a leader of the United States of America. You must make decisions and communicate in a way that's what's best for the greater good, not just yourself, not just your party, and not just your friends. This has been going on, in my opinion, since the day he took office, so I don't expect anything different from him. Not one thing. And I'm an American, and I believe that I don't care what side you take, Republican or Democrat, I want you to be safe. I want you to be healthy, right? And I want you to understand what we're up against. But if that is not shared from the highest person in our land, then we have a problem and we have to do some of these things by ourselves and on our own.
Well,
that's how I feel.
You said it fantastic. It was great, and you're absolutely right. But unfortunately, it's not, more or less what we signed up for. And so now you're right, we gotta rely on ourselves. Mm-hmm. We certainly do. Yeah. And I have another bone to pick. Doc, it's the fastest hour in sports conversation, brother. We appreciate you picking up the phone every Sunday, joining us, and stay safe, you and your family. We got to say goodbye to you, but we'll certainly be in contact and keep us posted, brother.
Stay safe, Doc.
Hey, man, stay safe. I'm sorry, Lauren. Jerry, talk to you soon, okay? Seriously, guys, take care of yourselves, all right?
God love you. Be good.
Okay.
Peace, brother.
Bye-bye.
Let's go back out to the phone line real quick. It's the fastest hour in sports conversation. We got a couple minutes. We go out to, I understand. Well, let's go out to Las Vegas, Lauren, because, there are a lot of bettors out there.
Oh, yes.
Lauren, this is really, really serious. You know this is really, really serious when Las Vegas shuts down.
Yes.
Las Vegas, you can bet on anything. Like anything. It's shut down.
This is huge.
Remember the song? Shut them down. Shut them down. I'm shutting down. Shut them. That's what Las Vegas, they shut them down. And our correspondent, I think he's in Las Vegas, but maybe he's in Florida. I don't know. He's on our TRS60 hotline. He's the one. He's the only. He's Kelly Lee Williams. What's up, Kelly?
Jerry Riles, you are not wrong. I'm in Las Vegas, my brother, and it is a ghost town.
Oh, my gosh.
You remember the first episode of The Walking Dead?
The Walking Dead?
Yes, the first episode where the guy walks out of the hospital and there's nothing on the streets. That's Las Vegas right now.
Whoa.
The Strip is dead. Downtown is done. There are no lights. There are no cars in the parking lots. Nobody's doing any gambling. Nothing is going on, Jerry.
No.
This is real.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That's Lauren, that was, if you didn't have a wake-up call, when this first hit, and many of us didn't, 2, 3, 4 weeks ago, we didn't really, we were like, oh, okay, this happened in China. Oh, okay, it spread a little bit over here. Yeah, it's Italy. Okay. When it hit home, man, but when Vegas shut down, the first sports book shut down.
Yep. That's when you knew.
I was like, wait a minute. I understand the stock market.
The sports books are shut down, but the sports have not, because everybody's got kids out of school, so we're having those kids race. We're having races between 3 and 5-year-olds. We're having races between 6 and 10-year-olds, and it's really fun. We do it in the parking lots of our complexes, and lots of money changes hands, man. Life goes on in Vegas.
Really?
Yeah, man. I've been on this little kid named Clifford. He was 5 years old, little fast kid. He pushed the kid over, but it didn't disqualify him. I won $500.
My God.
The resiliency of Vegas.
Hey, man, that's the beauty of America, right? I mean, there's a will, there's a way.
Vegas, baby, Vegas.
There you go.
You can't stop Vegas, baby.
Kelly, everything else okay? Because we got to spring you, brother. But we just wanted to check in and see how things are going out in Las Vegas.
Jerry, they did the exact right thing, because when they shut it down, that means nothing's being transmitted, and everybody's heeding the curfew. We're going to be fine here, Jerry, and prayers to you and to everybody in Chicago. I love all of y'all, and I hope to talk to y'all soon when these damn sports get back on, man.
Yes,
Let's go. Kelly Lee Williams, thank you. Be safe, you and your family. We love you, and we'll talk to you hopefully next Sunday, my good friend.
Child races forever.
You're the best, baby. Talk to you. Hey, real quick before we get out of here, Lauren, it's the fastest hour in sports conversation. We got to say, give our best to everyone here in Chicago.
Absolutely.
Whatever neighborhood you may live in, whether it's in Brainerd, whether it's in Beverly, whether it's in Streeterville, whether it's in Old Town, whether it's in Portage Park, wherever you may live, please be safe. And if you have to, order out, please do. Support your local businesses.
Absolutely.
But we also want to say thank you and hope that everyone over at Ciaranello's, our partner here at the Rewind Sports 60 and Gale Street Inn in Jefferson Park, Chef Michael Bonner, George over there, please, whatever we can do to help you guys out, we're here for you. There's no question about it, but make sure you take care of your staff. Make sure you take care of your, yourselves and your family. And people, if you need to order out, I urge people just once a week, order out.
Right.
Order out to keep these businesses up and afloat and going. Any last words before we're out of here?
Just build up your immune system. I mean, that's the key, just as we were talking about earlier. You can't depend on anybody else to save you at this point. You have to build up that immune system, make sure that you're washing your hands, taking care of yourself, and just staying strong mentally as well.
Sounds good, Lauren.
Absolutely.
You're the best.
Thank you. You too.
Have a good week, and we'll talk to you next week on the Rewind Sports 60, WCPT 820 AM. Gabe Salgado, TR60 scoreboard update. Take it away, buddy.
TRS60 Sports Update.
If you're looking for a reason to hope that our teams will get back to playing sooner rather than later, the Chinese Basketball Association announced this week that they will resume their season in April. Their current season was suspended in January as the coronavirus spread throughout mainland China, and its international players were sent home as a result. The league announced this weekend that its international players are allowed to return to their teams, but they must isolate themselves in self-quarantine for 14 days before returning to practice. Hopefully this is a good sign for our leagues here at home. This update is sponsored by the Monster Education Foundation. Don't forget to check on your loved ones, and I'm Gabe Salgado for the Rewind Sports 60 and WCPT 820 Chicago.
To the ball game, Hall of Famer Andre Dawson.
All right. Let's hear it from the greatest fans ever. On three. 1, 2, 3. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jacks. I don't care if I ever get back for its root. Root for the Cubbies. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Hey, let's get some runs. Thank you.